Without further ado, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch.
I think we're related. What do you think? Anyway, it's wonderful to be with you all. You know, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. On April Fool's Day, I celebrated my 46th wedding anniversary. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Lieutenant Governor. I have an apartment. I live in Indianapolis during the week, but then I go home to Evansville every weekend because that's where my husband is and it's where our home is. And so on April Fool's Day, our wedding anniversary, I was giving a speech, and I said to them, I said, I'm apologizing ahead of time because as soon as I'm through talking, I'm going to get in my car and go to Evansville because it's my 46th wedding anniversary. 46 years ago, my husband would have stayed up all night to see me. Now I got to get home before he goes to bed. But anyway, it's a blessing to be with you all. You know, I'm really passionate about Hoosiers that struggle with mental illness and addiction. And I'll tell you why I am. Because I was raised by a very loving mother who struggled with anxiety and depression her whole life. My older brother Larry, who was always my protector, was an alcoholic and suffered from depression and anxiety. He drank himself to death. My younger sister Nancy was a beautiful person and very artistic, and she died by suicide on her third attempt. The first two attempts, she was able to contact me and I got her help. But on the third attempt, it was before cell phones, and so I was out one night and came home and they said, well, Nancy had called. And I said, well, I'll call her tomorrow. It's too late to call tonight. And tomorrow was too late. And then our daughter, Courtney, our only child, is 16 years sober and bipolar. We're all created in the image and likeness of God. God's perfect, we're not. And so we have to be there and have to get help to those that need it. And we have seen since COVID a 20% increase in anxiety and depression among all of us. But we've seen a 60% increase among young people. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among our youth, and they are the future of Indiana. And that's why, if we ever find ourselves in a situation like we did with COVID, in the future there can be no masks, no mandates, no lockdowns, because of what it's done to all of us, but particularly our children. I often wonder why my older brother on one side of me inherited genes that predisposed him to depression and alcoholism, and why my sister on the other side of me received genes that predisposed her to depression and anxiety, and why I didn't. And so I believe it is so that I can help others. And it's going to take each and every one of us to be able to address this crisis that faces us and affects so many of our families. And so, to me, what you do, Life's Journey Recovery Center, what each and every one of you do by being here today, by your presence, but also by your continued support for those that struggle with mental illness and addiction, is how we end up on that road to recovery, and how we get help to those Hoosiers that struggle. And so for me, it's going to take all of us. God puts us in places for reasons, and God puts people in our lives for reason. And we're not here by accident. We're all here so that we can help others that struggle. And no other families have to go through the pain that each and every one of us has gone through. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for what you do. And know that together, we can bring hope, we can bring compassion, and we can bring recovery to those that struggle. So thank you, and God bless you.